What up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Adam Kalski, AK for short. It is 2022, and I am so sorry it's been so long since I've posted a video. So, as of 2022, I promise to try my best to be more consistent with my uploads. So today, we're going to talk about one of my childhood favorites, Disney's Peter Pan. Why? I don't know. I just want to talk about it. The second star to the right shines in the night for you, to tell you that the dreams you plan really can come true. Now, the original story of Peter Pan was written by James M. Barrie back in 1911, and the movie is pretty similar to the original story. Peter Pan lives in a place called Neverland where he can never grow up. He takes 3 siblings over there and they come across his lost boys, pirates, mermaids, Indians. But after getting into so much trouble, they become homesick. However, they come across Peter Pan's arch enemy, Captain Hook, who wants to kill him out of revenge for cutting off his hand. Some details I did leave out of the summary, but we're going to talk about them in a little bit. The main differences from the book and the movie is that in the book, there's a lot more murder, and Pan himself is a few prostitutes short of a cat house. Just look at this face and tell me you can't see the face of evil.
Your soul is mine.
What stands out to me a lot about this movie is the fact that it is animated. This story blends perfectly with animation. Everything from the Broadway plays, the silent films, the live action films, and so on and so forth, they'll use wires, CGI, green screens, so it always doesn't come out really all that right when it comes to the flying scenes. Now, while animation always has references and such, what they did back then with this movie is that they would have some of the actors and other models kind of react to scenes, so the animators could get the movements and the actions all correct. That took a lot of time. The movie is cast with so many heavy shadows and such rich colors, and the scale of a lot of these sceneries are beautiful. Every background in this movie I could just frame on a wall. It's that beautiful. Another great thing is that the characters and the voice actors are all spot on how they're portrayed and how they're written.
Oh.
For the most part. This movie also marks the first for a male to play Peter Pan. In the past, on Broadway and theater and silent movies, they used a female actress and such.
You have to admit, she is rather mannish.
Disney child star Bobby Driscoll provides the voice of Peter Pan. Peter Pan is usually depicted to be maybe 12 or 13 years old, and why they went with girl actors is because they would always have more of a high-pitched voice. So if they ever got a boy actor, it's probably by the time his Tinkerbells finally drop and his voice has gotten deeper. One of my favorite parts about this adaptation is Captain Hook. He invokes fear, but is very fearful himself. He's funny, but he's very menacing. I mean, this guy has absolutely no issue with shooting one of his crew members just because he doesn't like the way he sings. I also love how he takes every opportunity he gets and how despicable he is about it. Rather, it's taking advantage of a jealous Tinkerbell or attempting to literally stab Peter Pan in the back. This man is so evil, he gets away with saying lines like this.
Those redskins know this island better than I do my own ship.
Captain Hook, how can you be so ignorant? Everyone knows they're called the Washington football team.
They're called Native Americans.
Well, actually, see, when you think about it, they're in Neverland, so they're not Native Americans, they're Native Neverlanders.
Yeah, well, it's obvious what they're depicting. This is stereotypical.
One thing's for certain, this movie does a better job depicting Native Americans than you do with people on the autism spectrum.
Oh yeah, you know what?
I have an excellent idea. Let's change the subject.
Hans Conried provides the voice of both Captain Hook and Mr. Darling. And to have these characters have the same voice actor is actually a pretty subtle touch.
Wendy. Story. Wendy. Wendy! Harriet!
Other notable voice actors in this movie are Catherine Beaumont as Wendy and Bill Thompson, who is famous for the voice of Droopy the dog. Here he plays Smee. To me, with the writing and the acting of these characters, this is what makes them the definitive version of these characters. And while there's other characters such as John and Michael and the Lost Boys,
Hasn't lost the little boys?
no, I meant the Lost Boys, the Joel Schumacher version.
Oh, never mind then.
Though these characters don't have the most personality and such, they're written very safe, they're written good enough for this story. Now, I can't talk about this movie without bringing up the portrayal of Native Americans. This is really the one thing this movie gets critically panned for. You see what I did there? For me, I can see why people would be offended by this, but for me personally, I don't find them that offensive. Please let me explain. Now, it was a different time period when this movie came out, and even the original book got criticized for its portrayal of them. But that's rather if you can consider that as an excuse or not. For me, I just didn't find them offensive that much. I mean, they don't do something like make them out to be the bad guys or something. I mean, look at this. No one makes a big deal about children smoking. They're going to be flying higher than ever. Which makes me think, what was that stuff at the beginning the children were supposed to take? The original story could be dark and downright gruesome, but they get away with a lot of stuff in this movie. Just count how many times in this movie they say cutting throats. And like I said earlier, Captain Hook just shoots a guy just because he doesn't like his singing.
Rated G.
And man, Peter Pan's a pimp. I mean, look at all the girls that are jealous over him. Wendy, the mermaids, Tinkerbell. Man, he's getting those girls. Hello, Peter! Ah! Where are my seashells? And for 1950s, they get a lot of other skimpy stuff too. I mean, look at Tinkerbell.
Small waist, pretty face with a big bang. Look how you
Now, looking past all that stuff, when it comes to stuff like the story, it's actually told pretty well. And there are some things that no one really talks about it, in my opinion. Like, once they get to Neverland, they're all amazed and excited about it. But once they actually start witnessing all the stuff there, they get really tired of it. Especially Wendy. I mean, she was so happy to see mermaids until they harassed her. She also questions a lot of things Peter Pan does. I also like how it shows her frustration after she tells this one native lady off.
Squawk, get him firewood.
squawk, no, get some firewood. Squawk, go home.
So I don't know usually what morals people look in Peter Pan. Usually what I got of it is like there's a time where kids can be kids, but then there are times where sometimes you have to know when enough is enough. And that's another thing. Peter himself doesn't really comprehend that. I mean, this is a kid who has no trouble telling the story about how he chopped off the hand of Captain Hook and how it was all just a childish prank. If you want to look a little deeper into things, you could say Peter Pan represents the child mind outside of all the murder, and Captain Hook represents adulthood. And that's where Tick-Tock the crocodile comes in. He kind of represents time. And Captain Hook being afraid of Tick-Tock is actually a good metaphor. The songs are pretty good too. I really like them. And yes, my favorite is What Makes a Red Man Red.
What made the red man red? What made the red man red?
And the movie does a really great job with the slapstick and such. Anything associated with Captain Hook, Smee and the Crocodile is some of the best Disney has ever done. And it kills me every time I watch it. I think this movie captures the spirit of Peter Pan. It's a good adventure for kids. And I think it is one of Disney's best, personally. So overall, I love this movie. I'm sure some people are going to be divided about it because of, well, you know. But there are still great things in this movie that I think deserve to be looked at. Even Michael Jackson said this was his favorite movie of all time. He even named one of his estates the Neverland Ranch. Boy, I wonder how many lost boys he brought over there. For capturing the spirit of Peter Pan, the animation, the music, the casting, I'm going to give Disney's Peter Pan 9 out of 10 topless mermaids. That was my review of Disney's Peter Pan. What did y'all think? Did you love this movie as a kid? Do you still love it? Do you have your differences about it? Please let me know. Comments down below. Hit that subscribe button to help grow my channel. Give me a couple of thumbs up. Please like, share, and subscribe. And hit that bell to be notified for new uploads. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Oh, I forgot. The other day, I bought this from a drug dealer. They said it's called a Pixie dust ball. It said it will help me fly really high. Let's see if I can fly. Oh. I can fly! I can fly! I can fly! I'm okay. The second star to the right shines in the night for you, to tell you that the dreams you plan